All right. So James Harden used to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was a bench player, 6-man of the year type S player. And then he became one of the best scorers of NBA history.
Yeah.
And then now he's kind of old now, and he's pretty decent now at the very least. But he still doesn't have a ring yet. And as much as I don't like him because of what he did on the Sixers, I hope he gets a ring. Anyway, now we're on to the draft, and somehow, some way, it looks like anyone's legend might be able to get Skarner and AShe on the blue side, which seems like a violation to me.
Yeah, it does. It does seem like a violation, doesn't it, Yanni? Our cams are gone, which makes sense because we're in this draft.
It's because you're sitting down.
And it might also be because I'm sitting down. But thank you for the rundown on
no
James
worries,
Harden. I appreciate it. But yeah, anyone's legend. Very strong start to this draft. Viktor would be a little bit of a kind of tangent from this theme that AL could have been going for, but it does bring them a lot of wave clear, of course, magic damage. On the other side for BLG, a lot of potential aggression, right? Wukong locked in alongside the Varus, so strong early lane and Ambessa, which, if I recall correctly, was banned in the first 2 games of the night. So we will be seeing BLG pilot that one, likely on the top side.
Yeah, it's been one of those priority picks. Liangchen did actually get it in a game at NEST, and he got solo killed by Rumble. It was a little rough. He got solo killed in lane, but it was generally fine. The one thing I really like is Baiye is getting that Varus. He played pretty much exclusively Varus. His positioning was actually quite good in a lot of really, areas where he's funneled into a corner. It was against a Skarner and a Yone. So his positioning on Varus, the strong positioning he has, will do him pretty well against what anyone's legend has put together for their through their first 3 picks.
Yeah, I do definitely agree with you. Positioning going to be very important, especially against the AShe arrow. Bans have already flown through. Rakan and Akali taken away by AL, and Braum and Renekton on the opposite side. So worried about potential engaged support with, or rather, the Braum alongside this Wukong in the early stages. Very strong skirmishing potential, and it also just signifies that Kael is very likely to just lock in something like the Nautilus, just slam it, get yourself consistent engage alongside the already very potent power throughout the jungle and this AD, and it's going to be Poppy taken here into this Ambessa. I'm unsure about how the matchup actually goes. Of course, the thought process would be steadfast presence, 1,000,001 dashes out of Ambessa, and just kind of pray for the best. We'll see how this matchup ends up being piloted out, but there's that engage from Kael, and on the opposite side, Xiaoxia, or Xiaoxia, rather, is going to take up the Leona mantle. So BLG, very standard draft. There's just this Ambessa a little bit out of left field. We haven't seen, an absorbent amount of Ambessa just yet, but we certainly do know from solo queue stories how terrifying this champion can be, especially if it starts to snowball a lead into this Poppy. We'll have to wait and see.
Dashes on dashes, but yeah, I'm with you on not really knowing the matchup. Obviously, Ambessa, there's not really a whole lot of tape in pro play about all of these matchups quite yet, but at least conceptually, the Poppy pick is super sick, right? You get to shut down everybody with their movement abilities except for the Varus because he has none, and that means you get to slam the Varus up into the wall if you happen to catch him lacking. So this will be really good, and Flandre will be playing for the team here, it appears. And Tarzan, was playing really well with Flandre in the group stage, and I was kind of expecting, all right, Tarzan's going to play for Flandre here, and on the other side, Monki, it might do the same for Liangchen, and we might see that. But on the anyone's legend side, it might be going elsewhere.
Yeah, it could be. We'll keep our eyes on that top jungle here of anyone's legend. I also want to kind of just, highlight the potential of the double wallbang combo between Poppy and Skarner and how unfun that sounds, right?
Slams you up into the wall, slams you into the wall again.
It's just a solid 2.5 seconds of CC that you don't really get to reply in. So keep your eyes on those top side trades because, again, as a cool Caitlyn cosplay up there.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really kind of
really
biblically accurate, actually.
Yeah, it was really good.
If Liangchen again, bad trade into, hey, Skarner's here underneath my own tower and I can't do anything because I'm on red side. It could be a struggle bus for him up there. Of course, though, it does leave the potential of being answered out on the bottom side, right? And that's always the worry about making full committed plays like that onto the top side. You have to ensure that your bottom side isn't going to lose too much for, what is at the end of the day just getting a poppy ahead.
Yeah, and the one thing is we're kind of spoiled by seeing Poppy do a ton of damage because when in the support role takes the hail of blades, but in the top lane gonna take that grasp. So you're kind of lacking damage on anyone's legend. It feels like until you start getting later on to the game, right? You're gonna have Shanks and Hope be your two guys that are gonna be doing the most. As anyone's legend is gonna move in, get some ward coverage down. But Jamada, I am kind of worried that the damage profile is a little lacking.
Yeah, it's actually a very good point to highlight. I do agree with you. It will take some time for damage to be available. I do think, however, that a lot of the champions of AL do have very strong base damages, right? Skarner and Poppy do offer that at the very least. And I think with the mountain of CC and the general lack of, well, I don't want to say that BLG outright lack frontline, but what they do lack is a true through and through tank, with the exception of Leona, right? It is a lot of dummy uh, durability here from things like the Wukong passive and all of the shielding and mobility from Ambessa is going to get you through, but it's about how much it really gets you through. As for now, AL, as we've been talking about, that has initiated a lane swap, and BLG are a little bit on the back foot for the time being. We'll see how they handle these side lanes. Of course, Poppy notoriously difficult to dive, and I think in this setup again, you take W. You might not even have Q here. No, he does. Flandre does have Q, but steadfast presence, just a well-timed steadfast presence, right, can prevent so much from Xiaoxia and from Monki. We'll see exactly how much that ends up being the case, as Tarzan is going to play nuisance here to
Love
Liangchen.
that. Yeah, love that. Especially, you take a look at this jungle matchup between Tarzan and Monki. Monki, kind of living up to his namesake. He just goes and he fights, right? Tarzan, the cerebral
Oh
jungler, and you can
man.
already see he's just trying to keep Liangchen behind. Make the rookie work to try to get this EXP. I mean, he's level 2. Flandre is going to be level 4 probably on this wave. Maybe the next one. Like, this is gonna be tough to overcome this EXP deficit.
Yeah, it will be. And this is kind of one of the
Oh no. Oh
oh my
no,
young
don't do it,
child.
brother. Okay, well, we're going to start off on the bot lane. Flandre trying to knock him into the wall, puts up that steadfast presence. Xiaoxia tanking a lot. Ends up being
Wait,
Liangchen who got first blood. And Flandre dies on the bottom side. Oh, that is going 2-for-1 for BLG, though.
yeah, it's a 2-for-1 for BLG. I am really curious about how
I got to
Liangchen,
see that.
how the hell do you ever trade 1-for-1 here? I mean,
This
Kael
guy's the
must have,
GOAT.
the only way that could have happened is if, Kael missed his Q. Oh,
All
he
right.
remounted, so he doesn't even commit with the W.
Oh,
How the hell?
okay.
Oh, so he missed his Q. It's changed his C that ends up lacking, and the flash is just late, so he tanks the tower and dies. They have to wait for the
Oh my
All right,
god, that
well,
could have been
at
so
the very
bad.
least, Hope reacted quickly. That could have gone even worse because Tarzan procced his passive and then walked in again afterwards, and the tower still hadn't ramped down, but Hope thankfully reacted quick enough to make that dive work. Very messy on the top side from AL, and then, of course, on the bottom side, kill was picked up, but again, still 1-for-1 traded.
And I think that goes to show why Poppy will be such a good pick against Ambessa, because the only way that works is because Ambessa is able to dash with reckless abandon and get close enough to Kael to be able to just get that little bit of extra damage in, because I think that turret shot was pretty close. I don't think it overkilled him by a whole lot, but good stuff for BLG and this team of youth throwing out the pocket sand as the Titanic top laner got that 3v1.
Yeah, absolutely. I do wonder now, as we return to somewhat standard lanes, how that top lane matchup is now going to play out with Ambessa being so far behind, right? Does feel like she
It's
is a bit of
tough.
a, she's a bit of a feast or famine champion in many ways. And it does take, a fair bit of gold to get rolling and be oppressive, right? You always have a certain baseline of effectiveness, but when you're set behind, that is really going to be the true test here for Liangchen.
You're just gonna bleed out a ton of CS at this point. Sure, you'll get the EXP, but Flandre should be able to do well to keep him shoved off as Monki heading into the top side, scouting out the jungle, trying to figure out if Maybe they want to try to 3v2 dive. You can see Tarzan, the ping's going down onto the top side. We'll see if he makes his way up. They try to catch out Monkeys. Kael is on his way. Just gonna go see him sweep out the ward. Smite goes away. Xiaoxia moving down. So should be a quick rotate into grubs here for BLG.
Yeah, it will be. BLG, well, they don't want it for now. I'm just going to secure a little bit of vision around here. AL poking their head. But I'm just not sure that they, frankly, they have the capacity. But they are going to put numbers in with this mid lane priority and force them back. And of course, Flandre can always have first move down here. And just sitting in Fog of War is so powerful if you're Flandre. And just that alone, that potential rotation over, will secure those grubs. So AL kind of just mind control BLG off a little bit, and they will secure that objective. Monki and BLG couldn't even take one grub away here.
Yeah, and you know what? Grubs will probably be a better takeaway rather than actually going to be super good for them. Although Hope will be able to use that to pretty good effect once he gets some free time on the turret. And now Monki will be starting up the dragon just as the grubs go down. So a lot of kind of wasted time there as Tarzan immediately next camp.
Yeah, definitely do agree. Monki behind on tempo a little bit, but such is the way of that play. Again, very surprised that they didn't at the very least try and go for that just one initial grub, right? It's normally quite quick. Maybe his smite was on cooldown, of course, from taking down the grump. In fact, that might be the case if he didn't have the charge. As Tarzan here waiting for Heru.
Just going to throw a rock at him, trade a little bit. I think the chains are going to win out on that fight just a little bit, you know. Metal beats rock, right? That's at least how I played rock, paper, scissors when I was a kid.
Yeah, true. But honestly, for the time being, it's pretty okay for BLG. Again, the main issue is just going to be this top side, right? This 1v1 matchup being so lopsided because of the lane swap is a very, very big deal. Economically, this Ambessa is just, I mean, well, not economically, I suppose she's technically even in gold, right? But just by the XP, being down this level and a half for as long as she's likely going to be, she's going to have to find a play back into this game, right? If Flandre just kind of stays here to match and never leaves and never gives up a wave or two, you're always going to be behind. So it'll be very, very scary to ever get to try to play side lane into this Poppy, because, you know, you mentioned in the early game, Poppy might lack some, you know, damage comparatively to its support or jungle counterparts because of things like rune choices. Itemization for this Poppy could get a little bit interesting. I've seen a wide variety of Poppy builds in my day, especially when they're outside of lane, and even a one item worth of AD is gonna spike this Poppy's damage ridiculously. And you can see here how obnoxious these trades are. Buckler as well in the back of the head for the final portion of that trade, and now Tarzan's here, and it's like, well, I know I'm gonna get dove, and it's probably gonna suck, but what more can I do? Tarzan will, however, just stay put as an arrow. Hello.
Yep, got the cleanse out on Baiye. As Monki is heading around toward this try. Maybe wants to get in, pop the Cyclone, try to make something happen. Ward spots him out there. With this wave coming in, Hope and Kael gonna just play it a little safe as Monki's gonna head over to the blue buff, get that one taken care of, and over on the other side, Tarzan's gonna do the same. So things pretty quiet so far. It looks like plays might be able to be made, but in the end, they don't happen. And you know, I think this is actually pretty good for anyone's legend, because this allows time for Viktor and AShe to really get their items, their tanks to get tanky.
It
does.
does.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Liangchen could find himself in a little bit of trouble. Tarzan is ready to come through. Flandre is here too. Starting off with the buckler. There's the public execution, but can Liangchen actually get away? Tarzan will catch him, put him into the brush. And Liangchen is almost assuredly not going to be able to get away from this one, as Tarzan will be able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, doesn't burn the flash, and honestly, I kind of get it, right? Unless you were going to be able to get towards that bottom wall, it's just unfortunately very easy pickup for AL, and the Enchant will continue to struggle on this Ambessa, and we're getting a pretty good bit of evidence as to why sometimes we may not see the Ambessa or quite a few carry champions, whilst lane swaps are prevalent and available in the competitive meta. It's just, again, a very hard champion to make work inside of these lane swap setups.
He got a kill, though. You know, listen, that I heard that means you win the lane swap, right?
Yeah.
That is yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough. Liangchen really never had a chance, and somebody who is having a tough time that we haven't really talked about is Heru in the mid lane. I mean, obviously it is Viktor into Sylas, but I mean this is a large lead for Shanks, the Mage Master, as we affectionately referred to him earlier. Viktor being in the meta probably really good for this guy.
Yeah, I do agree. Shanks, I mean, he is kind of the Azir guy, right? I mean, we have a lot of Azir guys in the LPL, as I'm not sure there's really going to be a general fight here
Well, here comes a teleport
over
from the
this
Poppy,
grub
so
set.
there might
Yeah.
actually be a
Oh, yeah.
fight as Kael with a good engage onto Baiye. Baiye, though, is fine for right now. The Impale lands onto one. Down goes Kael. Hope trying to
Is the real
fight from
Impale.
front to back. Here's the real Impale. That gets a kill onto the Leona. Now a 4v3, but the question is, can they get more? The Chaos Storm close to slowing him up. Baiye trying to get away, but he gets slammed into the wall. Couldn't flash away. And that is a couple of kills for anyone's legend, and now they're turning up the heat.
Yeah, that could have gone so much worse for BLG as well if that ultimate from Tarzan connected onto more than one person. Just a little bit short, a little bit of high ground, low ground as well, I think, on that ultimate. Really kind of oversold how much damage that could have gotten done. But yeah, BLG, more than they can chew there in that exchange. They, of course, get caught out by that flank from Kael, but still engaged and didn't really do much of the means of trying to disengage either. Unfortunately, lose more members than they probably could have gotten away with. Really good look in here from AL.
This was
And
great.
it was just, yeah, great angle they find onto Baiye. And even though, you know, it feels like Kael is a little bit isolated, it's more about what AL are also getting done in their own backline, right? Dealing with the jungler. It's support for jungle initially, and yeah, it's that high ground, low ground. It just oversells it a little bit. How much damage Tarzan was able to get done, also a flash away that ended up
Oh,
coming
it
out
was both of
from
them.
Heru. But yeah,
The double
that last
slam.
wall smash.
Yeah,
It's so powerful, man.
yeah,
It's so much CC.
it was so tough. And Tarzan had a really excellent fight there, by the way. Dodged out on the Chains of Corruption and dodged out on the fake impale. Like, this dude, I mean, he was on Lilia, right, during the group stage, and also had a lot of fancy movements here. The veteran still has the mechanics to be able to keep up with the young kids, as you can see in this game.
Yeah, no, Tarzan, very very, very versatile. Always has been, and I think he always will be. And since this Skarner's come into meta, has certainly been one of the more consistent players on it whenever he has been put on that duty over on Weibo throughout summer. As speaking of,
Monkey
finds
gets
Monki.
interrupted. Yeah, this is another good engage coming out from anyone's legend. The teleports are a little bit late, but Shanks gets there first. Baiye is forced out. Xiaoxia trying to help him out. Other side of the fight. The public execution does not land, but finally getting the fight is Liangchen, but it's a 3v1 at this point in time. He's trying to get onto Hope, but Hope able to kite it out excellently, which means Shanks is able to pick up a triple kill.
It's just easy pickings here for AL. The fight's so disjointed, and I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but Tarzan caught Monki inside of the clone whilst he
That's
was in
excellent.
stealth. So it just, yeah, breaks apart whatever BLG were fishing for entirely from start to finish, and they will get a pretty nice chunk out of this mid-tier one. They're not going to pick up Dragon or anything of the like, and let's see if that was entirely intentional or no. I think he was just gonna start the channel, but then it wasn't even the clone. Monki pressed E. Monki dashed into that one. The maker of his own demise there, unfortunately, as yeah, the Impale then finds its way onto the backline, and even though Tarzan dies, preventing those divers from getting that initial bit of damage in is very, very impactful. And we're seeing here Ambessa, you know, if up one more level, if had, you know, first item, maybe that feels a little bit nicer. As Tarzan again has that heart steal. You know, he's got to get the stacks going now.
Yeah, and they're starting to hurt too. You saw that he chunked out Xiaoxia. Definitely looking for his next victim here. As BLG are looking to get the blue buff for themselves and get the hell out of Dodge. Smite will go over to Tarzan, and yeah, it's tough as Monki is now starting to get choked out of his own jungle. He might be a monkey, but Tarzan is king of the jungle.
Yeah, that he is. Even if it is some Wukong on the other side, still Tarzan claims
It's just a
that
triple
land.
entendre.
It is.
Actually,
It's it is. Yeah, come on. You know how it goes.
this is great, man. You know, I love this. It doesn't line up this perfectly that often, so we gotta take the opportunities where we can. As Shanks is gonna get a turret for himself. I mean, he is just kind of running away with the game at this point. No, 3-0-3, 173 CS. It's up 40 CS essentially on, I'm sorry, 30 on Baiye. I mean, this guy is just going to continue to laser people down.
Yeah, he will. He's continuing to scale up here. Shanks is going to be scary eventually.
Here we
Will
go.
be the main.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Liangchen took so much damage for absolutely nothing. Tarzan is here at the dragon, gets knocked up, is getting actually roasted and taken down. Now Kael trying to do what he can to keep Hope alive. Another dodge out on the public execution as Hope is just raining arrows and raining death, allowing time for Shanks to make it into the fight. He finds two more. He wants a third, but this one will be given over to Flandre. And anyone's legend just wiping BLG away.
Holy, Hope just collided on BLG there. That was ridiculous. Dodged out on so many things, most notably that public execution. If that ultimate had landed from Ambessa, from Liangchen, then maybe BLG get to roll over that fight after finding their pick onto Tarzan, but it's frankly not enough, and anyone's legend AD carry makes a complete mountain out of a molehill, and they'll pick up this tower as well on the back end of this, and let's just get a look at this replay, because Tarzan steps too far forward, and I think he just kind of dies in CC, right? Doesn't get to cast that ultimate, but then Kael gets his ultimate onto the front line, right? All of the CC, and then it's just, oh man, been there, inch too short from Liangchen.
Yeah.
And Hope as well, a very nice sidestep as the rest of AL comes into collapse, and yeah, the walk down is easy, double kill for Shanks, and Flandre picks up the final one.
Not much that Baiye could do there. It was a valiant effort. You just got to go after Hope and do what you can. As I thought, we're going to get another fight here. Tarzan off on the side, trying to just take down Xiaoxia as the first turret in the mid lane is going to fall. Now slammed into the wall. Tarzan with the Impale getting a priority target here as Baiye will fall. Hope gets that kill, and Hope is safe and sound, baby. And this Chaos Storm's getting real big. Liangchen was a complete non-factor in the fight. Gets hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, up against the wall, just can't go anywhere. It's two more for Shanks.
Yeah, this game is just about done and dusted. It's just about signing off the formalities now for AL. 10,000 gold, almost. This tower will bring them ever so closer. But my, great pick after pick, and there's just not really much that BLG can do at this point when you're down so far, right? And it's a very, very, win more composition they've got going for them, even with the on-hit Varus as well, as teleports coming in from Heru. They're looking for something here, but I just don't think it's what they want to find.
You will find only death here, Jack Sparrow. Heru manages to find a way out for now. They get on top of Shanks, but Shanks is kiting it out so well. The lasers doing what they can. Tarzan gets hit by the public execution. Kael is here to try to help out. Shanks half HP, trying to get from Liangchen, who flashes on top of him, but the gravity well will keep him alive. Kael will fall, but Flandre and Hope should be able to lead the charge here. Heru has the stolen ultimate, but he can't go in on the Shanks as Xiaoxia eventually falls, and now it's a 3v3. Hope flashing, getting the slow. Baiye not up against the wall, but Flandre doesn't take any damage. Chaos Storm is getting real big once again. It's just not enough for BLG. They fall again. Shanks continuing to do crazy things, as well as Hope on top of it.
Herald of the Arcane. You know what? Maybe this rework wasn't that bad after all. As Shanks absolutely two-steps on BLG and baits so much out of them, just keeps them on that knife's edge and keeps them committed until the rest of AL can commit to that fight coming back from base. Excellent team fight, and I mean, if the nail wasn't already in the coffin, if this game wasn't already done, then that is just simply salt in the wounds. We're going way back with this replay, all the way back to the
vintage fight.
Yeah, this is all exactly. It feels vintage given the pace of this game.
Can't believe that didn't hit Monki, by the way.
I know. I'm very surprised. We can't even watch the replay because
Xiaoxia is getting solo killed.
Monki's dying.
I'm so sorry, Xiaoxia.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, tank support problems when you're losing. Your scoreline's not going to look that great.
No, it's not. As Baron's up now, so it is available to be taken, and AO will take that opportunity in their stride immediately. And this should just be the purple worm going over. No big contest from BLG, as you would imagine. And yeah, again, it's just going to be about getting the most out of this Baron and trying to get ourselves to a game number 2 as quickly as possible here for AL.
I mean, listen, if you're Shanks, you're probably like, hey, can we stay in a little bit longer, guys? I'm not even at the peak of my powers yet. 9-0 and 8 has the Blackfire Torch along with the Leandries, has the Void Staff, just doing the most. It's really funny, you know. Once upon a time, he was 3-0 and 3, and we were like, hey, you know, he's set to take over the game. Well, it is Viktor's world. We are just living in it.
True. Glorious evolution.
Oh yeah,
March is ever closer.
It's right now, like they're looking like BLG's looking like Jace. You know, I have too many spoilers. If you haven't watched Arcane, which you probably should do so.
You know what? So I had this conversation the other day. If you've not watched Arcane by now, it's your
What
own
are you
problem.
doing?
Great steadfast presence, and
if
Xiaoxia is gone. Goodbye.
Yeah, if you're not watching Arcane right now, if you haven't watched it, you are Xiaoxia right there. You're not doing the most. You know, no offense to Xiaoxia, because there's not much you can do at this point of the game, but you should really get it done. So Liangchen will fall. That should put the bow on the game here for anyone's legend, as they're gonna knock down this inhibitor. Shanks is gonna get his back in. He's gonna teleport in, and that'll do it. You know, BLG at a nice high point at the beginning of the game, getting that kill, getting 2 kills in the lane swap, and then it kind of all fell apart for them, Jamada.
Lane swap, good. Everything after the lane swap, not so good, as more kills rolled in, and unfortunately, AL may have just you know, stepped over the line a little bit too much. BLG, not going to give it to him easy, but it will be a Nexus tower at the very least for this exchange.
Yeah, they were happy gaming a little bit there, Jamada. They really, really wanted to go to game 2, but again, I'm sure Shanks is still very happy right now. He's like, hey man, listen, you know, get my items. They're not gonna even do the dragon at this point in time. They don't even care. Tarzan is backing and it's just like, we can get this on the way, or you know, we're not stopping at McDonald's. We got food at home.
Yeah, the second dragon hasn't even been done yet, so we haven't
spawned
another rift. Think about that.
Oh my god.
You know, this is at times we need a stat check on this. When was the last time a competitive game ever finished without the rift evolution? I mean, they're gonna take the dragon now. I think no.
I think I was watching.
No, they're walking past it.
I think I was watching an NEST VOD where there was no rift.
Oh.
I think I was just watching a VOD where that happened. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not gonna stake my claim on it, but certainly the number is probably low.
I can't personally recall a game I've ever watched where there's just no elemental rift. We're going back to the old seasons as engage.
Yep, the cyclone knockup is there, but that impale is huge. Baiye is low, and he's got to run away. But can you run from the storm? It's a triple kill for Tarzan. Monki will get bonked right into the fountain. He should thank Flandre for saving the KDA there, as now anyone's legend will knock down the final Nexus turret, and subsequently the Nexus for a Game 1 victory.
Yeah, easy peasy. 24 minutes on the clock, and AO will knock down this Nexus. Not much for BLG to talk about there in that game. Very, very clean. That initial dive, of course, maybe not so, but everything else after the fact was simply just business. Nothing more, nothing less. And AO absolutely dominate.
Yeah, and really, this was the expected result of this individual game. Obviously, you know, we have a whole nother game, potentially too, but, you know, everybody expects anyone's legend to walk in, dust up this BLG Juniors amalgamation of youth roster that they have going on, and move on to the semifinals. But, you know, as we talked about, there were a couple of bright spots. They were fleeting, but they were there. You know, while the lane swap did not really work out, obviously, for BLG. Obviously, they weren't the ones who started it, but while the lane swap went bad for them, you do get the kill for Liangchen. So it's like, okay, if you clean that up and are able to make that play, and the rest of the team can do other things for something in the future, something for these players to think about, it could be a pretty okay play eventually.
Yeah, it could have been, but again, you know, I think for BLG, the big problem really lies in that they had to get, you know, a lead through their bottom lane. Ambessa needed to hit one item at, you know, parry, and AL, you know, through this lane swap don't really enable that to happen, right? There's no clean 2v2 in the bottom side ever going on. Ambessa's playing what is, you know, probably a very tough lane counter from an entire level down, a level and a half down. So I think, yeah, this lane swap just threw BLG into a, into complete array. Didn't seem like they necessarily had the lane swap on their mind as they were drafting, and then maybe as the draft concluded, they were like, oh,
Oopsies.
uh, oops, I forgot that can happen. And it's definitely something that can be a thing. As lane swaps aren't necessarily an every game, occurrence. They are frequent. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you get sucked into, having drafted and planned around lane swaps
Oh
not
my
being in the game for
goodness.
so long that you do forget, as that is
That's a damage chart.
a
That is one of the damage charts of all time.
yeah,
I know who's winning MVP this game.
yeah. I
Although
think I know.
I've said that multiple times and it's always been somebody
Don't
else. So
look, nephew. As a newcomer to the LPL scene, let me just set something straight for you.
please.
The LPL MVP votes are never as straightforward as they should seem. All right, we've already had one tonight, right? It
Yeah.
should have been
Oh,
Harm
for
getting
sure.
that MVP
Absolutely.
in game one, right? Over TN. TN got it anyway. Just don't even try and put sense to it. But I do agree. This one
It's too
should
obvious to miss.
it should be cut and dry, right? It should be cut and dry. If it's not Shanks MVP, then I'm not sure what they got going on over in China, but it's not whatever's going on our screen. I'll be sure of that. That said, though, highlight reel, you could make a good couple of 3 minutes, I think, of just a complete montage reel of BLG not getting any kills in just about any exchange.
Yeah.
Um, just the nature
Liangchen
of
not
how
able to hit
one
any
v one this
public
is.
executions. I mean, it's not really his fault.
Uh-uh.
The dodges on them were just really, really good. I mean,
Yeah.
especially right here, you're gonna see it in just a moment. The timing was just a little bit off, man. It's tough to watch. Tough scenes
Yeah.
here.
Tough scenes, but it's kind of the expected outcome. It's always rough to watch the games play out, regardless, right? And in some cases, it's not nice. But BLG given their opportunity here to the juniors to play out this Demacia Cup, and of course, given the opportunity to maintain a little bit of rest for their for their main squad, not their junior squad, and AL taking no prisoners.
Yeah, I mean, they were gonna take it easy on the kids over here on BLG, and I'm sure that they're not beating themselves up too much, as this fight ended up going pretty well. Obviously, at a pretty big numbers advantage, as two more people coming from off screen, and an initial advantage. They just could not find a way to kill Shanks, and unfortunately, it ends up being a part of their undoing, as he's just dumping so much damage at this point.
Yeah, this was a fantastic play from Shanks, man. He dodges everything, and he knows there's kind of like that mental range, right? I almost wish we could like what's the word? We could draw over this play, because he just knows exactly where those ranges are. Of, if I walk here, they have to walk up, and I can't. I'm walking up. I'm disrespecting. They have to come back and put their space down. And it just, again, it kept them teetering on the edge long enough for AL to show up, as the highlight reel is still playing, and it's still BLG just getting absolutely slaughtered. Again, montage could have been made, as yeah, not much they can do. And this was, of course, the final fight. The Chaos Storm grows massive.
And it did so much damage too. It was on everybody in the middle of that and that dust up. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's huge or small. When it's dealing that much damage, you're gonna win the fight anyway.
Yeah, no, you are. It's such a powerful reset tool that I'm gonna actually be, believe it or not, I'm gonna be excited to see Viktor. I can't believe, after finally seeing a good Viktor outing,
Oh,
like the threat of that ultimate is actually quite scary. It's quite scary. So
oh, it's tough.
yeah,
I was getting hit from bottom inner turret over at like red buff.
Yeah,
Playing against it where I got a pentakill. It was never. I don't want to think about that anymore, man. It hurts. It hurts my soul a little too much. One thing that I was a little surprised that BLG wasn't able to do, as finally Shanks gets it. We got him. Everything is right in the world. BLG really wasn't able to take any action against anyone's legend. We talked about how it's 3 tanks plus Ashe and Viktor. Like there are avenues to attack that team, and they just weren't able to do so. I don't really think they had the hard CC out of the jungle that they could have really needed.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know where I don't know where like in the draft they could have actually found
Yeah,
any respite. Unfortunately.
yeah, that's